You can send it over to Davis. Davis takes all bets.
Davis is our bookie. We have a really well thought out organization.
Yeah, it's 3.5 for the mutes because Josh is not here. So it was 4.5, but then Josh opted out. So now it's at 3.5.
That is correct. That actually happened. Welcome to Into the Lab. This is season 2, episode 19. We'll fill you in on our lines in just a second, but I'm at the beautiful home studio in San Antonio, Texas. One of my last few shows in the home studio, as this house has sold. You can book that. And we are Facebook Live, Twitter Live, and YouTube Live. Thank you, gentlemen. I see those claps going on. But you know me. I'm your host, Ernest Silva, at Ducky, future PhD. That's going to happen this year, folks. And, of course, you can find me on all social platforms under that name as well. This episode brought to you by the Mothership Blue Collar Media Group. You know, a few of the fellas on here with their own podcasts. And then our featured sponsor, Thrive Fantasy. Go visit www.thrivefantasy.com. Enter the promo code BCMG. Get some promo rights as that's been upped a little bit. Go place your favorite bets into the weekend. Prop player bets, the best. If Kenny was here, he'd be telling you, but too bad he's spending his money on Thrive Fantasy. All right, we have a fantastic wild card weekend pick 'em for you. That's our second round. Our first round is a big debate segment. All of us have been listening to it around NFL Twitter and NBA Twitter. We're going to tackle those debates. We're going to have some people lead off and the group come in. And you get to meet the new co-host of ITL. She'll be jumping on very shortly. I'm not going to give it away yet, but we'll get her going. Announcer, do what you do every night. Bring us in and start us off right. All right, from Bali, Indonesia, with 126 wins in season 2, representing his Green Bay Packers, Twitter handler at Dre2124. Dre Rogers will be joining us shortly. I'm sure he just loves that Indonesian internet. And if you missed his volcano segment, he was fantastic last week. It was hilarious. All right, from Pittsburgh with 151 wins in season 2, co-host of the Puckleheads podcast and co-founder of the BCMG Group, or Blue Collar Media Group, representing his Pittsburgh Steelers, Twitter handle at Steel Curtain PEH, Just Paul.
What's going on, boys? Glad to be here. Wild card weekend. The NFL still has not canceled a game, so we got that going for us.
No games canceled. The Cleveland Browns shut down their facility, but we are moving forward from Pittsburgh as well with 108 wins in season 2. Another co-host of the Puckleheads podcast, representing his Pittsburgh Steelers also at Hearts on Hockey, Just Luke.
Hey, what's up, fellas? I just got one question for you. Does a dog shit on a beach?
Apparently, Luke. Apparently. The Just Brothers joining us again for Wildcard Weekend. Fantastic to have you guys. From Wagner, finishing second with 161 wins in season 2, co-captain of the BCMG Stream Team, and our college sports expert at DDog1123, Davis Cordova.
Yeah, I just want to say, shout out Kenny for beating me by one. I never thought that the ITL pick'em would come down to me picking the Jets and Kenny picking the Patriots. But here we are.
Davis lost because the Patriots won.
Yeah.
That
and
makes Steve happy.
now I'm debating the Patriots. So watch out, Steve.
Uh-oh. There
Yikes.
we go. From Hertfordshire with 22 wins in 2 weeks in season 2, from Latham Tour at Latham Tour, Will Latham. That's what it is.
Latham, that's the one. Yeah, that'll do.
Yep, I got it. Damn it.
No, thanks for having me on. It's given me a break of watching that horrible first half of Atlanta basketball, so I'm glad to be helping on.
Will, I heard they were down 6-20. What's the score now?
59-40 at the half. We are looking terrible.
I'm sorry, buddy. From Guilford with 55 wins in season 2, the analytical mind from the ESPN Sports Analytics Conference at Asian Tatum, Chris Remick.
Thanks for having me, Ernest. Celtics faring a little bit better than the Hawks. They're up 15 points against Miami right now, so we're feeling good.
Awesome. Unfortunately, from the D.C. area, celebrating his birthday with us because he's locked in, from the Source Podcast, Joe Goddard.
How's it going, boys? Thanks for having me. Thanks for spending my birthday with me. I'm also streaming the Celtics game on in the background. So if Jaylen Brown does something stupid and or Peyton Pritchard hits a 3, you'll hear me screaming. But that's where I'm at. So good to be here.
Now, Job doesn't come by himself. He brought his sidekick or not sidekick, but partner in crime over there at the Source Podcast, Sam Hiller.
Hey, how's it going, guys? It's nice to be here. I'm actually tracking my New York Knicks in the background, which is usually a horrible task, but it's been surprisingly bearable this year, I guess. Down 12 at the half, but we will see what happens.
But that's better than usual.
Yeah, and we pulled a comeback last game against Atlanta, which was a 15-point lead, I think. So, I mean, I guess some reason.
No, I know. I was just jabbing.
Listen, no, Knicks. You're not wrong.
I can still jab the Knicks.
You're not wrong. Listen, everybody
You have
can.
to jab the Knicks.
Hey, Steve, how was that Pistons game?
5 wins doesn't do anything for us.
The one where we
won
the other night.
The one where you
Did
lost.
win.
All right, from Regina,
from
Regina with 92 wins in season 2, from the Frostbite Sports Podcast, and representing his Indianapolis Colts at Frostbite Pod, Jet Folk.
Well, I got embarrassed all season long in Pick'em. Then my Canadian boys got embarrassed by the American boys on the ice last night. I just got to hope that the horseshoe doesn't get embarrassed this weekend by the Bills. So here we go, boys. Let's get it.
Jet, you feeling confident in that game this week?
Hell yeah, kind of.
I hate that for you, Jet.
The Bills Mafia is in the stands, people.
I've been told that nobody circles the wagons.
Like the Buffalo Bills.
You're absolutely right. Can't wait to talk about that game. Let's talk about a man who pulled 116 wins himself in season 2 from Regina as well at Boomtown Pod, Andrew Con Sutton.
Oh, nailed 116, boys. That's better than I thought I was going to do this year. Took some risky business picks earlier on, but good to be on, Ernest. Thanks for having us, bud.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course. From Boston with 133 wins in season 2, from Slightly Biased and co-founder of the Blue Collar Media Group, Twitter handle @Reisner_Steven, rocking the Beers gear, the General Steve Reisner.
I was hoping somebody would get that. This is just came the other day, my Joe Cooper jersey.
Did it come with that mustache?
I was about to say, the mustache or the jersey?
Oh, no, the mustache is all custom.
Ooh, baby.
Wow. Gonna get you sponsored by some kind of razor brand next. That's got to be the next sponsor for BCMG. You guys got to get working on that.
Man, yeah, I've been working on Gillette.
Everybody.
Literally, I did some work over at Gillette's plant. Ooh. But
wow, flex.
Steve, I don't care what they say. You're looking great in the beard. Keep rocking it.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Haven't even introduced her yet.
I'm all set.
Let's talk about the voice from above, from San Antonio, Texas, also having 22 wins in 2 weeks. The sweetest voice on ITL at Sweet Peach 4_, Ashley Garcia.
Glad to be back, boys. It's always a fun time, especially on a hump day like this one. But we'll see y'all on Friday.
Very excited to have you back on. Ashley will be doing our advertisements. Unfortunately, we don't get to see her lovely face. We'll hear her voice, though, throughout the episode. I'm excited, guys. 2-round segment. We will introduce Steph. Ashley comes in later on in the episode. Let's get into round 1, which is our debate segment. Announcer, bring us in. All right, fellas, that is the bell, and we're going to start this one off very, very hot. Let's go straight to Philly, where we had tons of debates, but we're going to start with the man who's not behind center, Carson Wentz. I asked 2 of you to start this debate off right away. Carson Wentz is a top blank quarterback in the NFL. Just Paul, start us off.
He's a top 20 quarterback. Just 2 years ago, he was going to be the MVP of the league. I'm still not ready to give up on that guy yet. Philly's been devoid of weapons, or at least they don't know how to use the weapons. The offensive line problems have been well documented. I'm not ready to give up on this guy yet. I've seen the talent he has, and I just want to see him with a competent offensive line and some weapons and see what happens. He can come to this side of Pennsylvania. I wouldn't mind that. I'll tell you that.
Now the challenge for you is going to be Sam Hiller, I believe. Joe Goddard yielded the floor. So Sam, talk to us. You had a piece on this. Talk to us a little bit about what you think about Carson Wentz.
Well, believe it or not, for the sake of debate, I'm going to take the other side of this. The article that I wrote was actually strikingly similar to what just Paul was talking about, in the sense of the man has been sacked a lot and he did have a good season back in 2017. But there is another side to this, and there are multiple routes you can take. But first of all, when we talk about the 2017 Carson Wentz, we don't know whether that Carson Wentz can ever come back, because that Carson Wentz was unfortunately cut short by a torn ACL. We don't know what happened to a lot of those abilities after the torn ACL because the offensive line broke down, but we don't know if it's still there. And second of all, I fear he's encountered a problem that a lot of quarterbacks can't really get over, and that's, the case of the yips. And we saw Baker Mayfield has gotten over it to a slight amount with Kevin Stefanski running him in a more play action style offense. But for now, Carson Wentz is absolutely scared to death every time he fades back in the pocket. And unless he gets out of a situation like that, and he gets behind a line where either he can throw the ball quickly or he can be protected well, like possibly the Indianapolis Colts, which is what my piece was about, how that could be a connection there. I don't necessarily know if there's many scenarios that work out for him unless he can find himself comfortable in the pocket, because otherwise his feet will never settle and his mind will keep racing.
So just to clarify for you, Sam, you're saying top 20 as well, top 20 quarterback?
Yeah, he has top 20 potential. I think right now I'd say top 25. I don't think you can put him in that top 20 range where there are other quarterbacks who are producing in a maybe mediocre fashion, but they're still producing better than he is.
I'm just saying that he would start on any NFL team, correct? Except for apparently the Eagles. Well, not any. I won't say any. No, because there's the franchise. There's the franchise guys, but there's that group of 15 teams that are either right on the outside of the playoffs or right on the inside that, like, he would start in Washington, correct? He would start over Alex Smith.
I don't necessarily know if that's true. I think that Alex Smith has a good knowledge of the game. Ron Rivera trusts Alex Smith to run his offense. I think it's got a lot to do with trust in coaching quarterback relationships, which is why I think Indianapolis would be a good fit for him, because he would be with Frank Reich, who ran that offense in Philly in 2017. Go back to the source of where your success came from. But in a lot of instances, the coaching relationship with the QB is incredibly important to the success of a team. And we see that, or saw that last year with the fall of the Los Angeles Rams, with Jared Goff and Sean McVay not being able to understand each other. So I think when it comes to a team like Washington or any other team with, say, a mid-level, some would say mediocre quarterback who's in that 15-team range, it comes down to trust, whether those teams will trust Carson Wentz. And honestly, the offensive line for Washington, I would not necessarily trust if Carson Wentz was to be thrown back there and told to run that system. I think it's very key that he goes to the right spot for him.
And I agreed with I read your article. I agreed with Indianapolis because of the offensive line because of the fit you said with Reich, because Jet's been pounding the drum all year that Super Bowl was Reich's, and I believe it. I don't know. The money situation, I know how you explained it in the article. I just don't see, I don't see a team. They're going to have to cut him, or I just don't see a team taking on at all. I just don't see it.
Well, I mean, I don't know if they'll necessarily take it on, all of it on. I've seen situations where teams have split the salary. I don't necessarily know how the logistics of that work, but I know there are ways to get around that if you're talking about a sign and trade with an extension. But more importantly, when you think about teams, taking on that big of a salary, first of all, they're paying Phillip Rivers $26 million this year. That's pretty much what Carson Wentz's extension is. So you're really just trading Rivers for Wentz, because Rivers is on a one-year deal. You pull him out, put Wentz in. It's pretty much the same salary hit. The only difference is if you cut him, you have a lot of dead cap. And I think that's the biggest issue, is that the Eagles do not want to take on all that dead cap.
Dead cap. Let's open it up to the floor, and let me kind of give
60 million.
Yeah, that's it.
It blows my mind every time I see it.
Let's give these quick scenarios. Davis, give us scenarios on quarterback. That way we can kind of get a general analysis from the team, how we feel about Carson Wentz.
Yeah. So would you guys, if it was on the 49ers, would you guys rather start Jimmy G or Carson Wentz?
Garoppolo.
I mean, I would be Wentz
all day with that offense.
Unless he gets a year to work with Shanahan before we have to watch him, then I'll take Carson Wentz.
Garoppolo. It's about that. It gets down to the relationship for me. I think Wentz is more talented, but I think Garoppolo works better with him.
Okay.
Now, if you're telling me it's Kirk Cousins, then I'll take Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go over to a playoff team that you guys were talking about, like the 15 team range. The Chicago Bears, Mitch Trubisky or Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz.
Carson Wentz.
Right. Obviously, Carson Wentz.
Carson,
Mitch
but it's
Trubisky.
close.
What are you guys talking about?
It's close. Yeah. I mean, I might even say Mitch myself, but it's close. It's closer than I thought it would be a year ago.
I think Mitch has just a much lower ceiling.
I think we've seen Mitch's ceiling. We have yet to see Carson Wentz, get back to his floor or what we thought was his floor, but his ceiling is 50 touchdowns. So I would take Carson Wentz.
I think we have to remember that there was a lot of hype when Jalen Hurts came in and started balling out a bit for Philly, but it's not like this offensive line just became good. Like he was just be able to bail himself out with his feet and his legs. That's what Jalen Hurts had the ability to do. And this offensive line this year has been horrible. I've had to watch it for 16 weeks. It's been painful. And like Sam said, if you get him with a good offensive line at somewhere like Indy, then this guy is actually, if he can get back to, not necessarily back to the levels he was in 2017, but better than obviously this year, this guy can still be an elite quarterback. And I've still got the belief in him to do that once he gets the right fit at a different team.
Does Carson not have wheels? I thought Carson could move.
Sacks in 12
games. It's not that he's not quick. It's that he's heavy on his feet. So it's the acceleration to get out of like the tackle in the first place.
Well, I think that's something else. He doesn't really have a pocket presence. He just doesn't have a pocket presence sometimes.
No, I would also say I will come to Carson's defense on that too, though. Like if we're saying he wants to go anywhere, I think San Francisco is the best fit for him. And the only reason why I say that is because he has power backs that can block. Miles Sanders is soft. He's not really a big power back that's going to be able to block and give you that time. And that O-line is brutal, as Will just stated. Yeah, you go to San Francisco. Listen, folks, Carson likes to air the ball out. Deebo Samuel is quick. Brandon Ayuk is quick. Mr. Kittle is good. This is a good offense for Carson Wentz.
Running backs out of the backfield too.
And like we haven't had D-Jax all year as well, who's the one outlet that he was looking to throw to.
D-Jack's done. I think D-Jack's done.
I just keep coming back to being sacked 50 times in 12 games. You look at quarterbacks in the past who have been sacked like that, and maybe David Carr back
also
in
protection.
I mean, not bring up that name.
No, I mean just like that's really who we're dealing with in comparison. Extend it out to 16 games, and that Carson Wentz is getting sacked almost 70 times in a season, which is what happened to only really David Carr. This is unprecedented.
Yeah, David Carr's left ear is now burning, which is the first time it's burning in probably 8 years. Thanks, Sam. Let's end that debate on this last question. Carson Wentz or Tua?
Carson Wentz.
Are you talking about right now?
I'm talking about next season.
Tua
Carson Wentz.
In Miami, if you're Miami. Carson Wentz or Tua?
Carson Wentz.
Actually,
Tua Tagovailoa.
So I don't know if y'all saw this today, but the OC for the Dolphins stepped down.
Chad Gailey, see ya.
So, I mean, it depends on who they put in there.
But I mean, that's the guy that they had in there specifically for Tua.
He was there to a guy.
It obviously didn't really work out. So
Fitzpatrick going forward.
Well, all right, get him Bill O'Brien. Go get him Bill O'Brien.
Oh, man. Yeah, go get Bill O'Brien, please.
Tua Tagovailoa has a brighter future.
Wouldn't that be funny if you traded back the Texans picks back to
oh my god,
that's perfect.
Just give him Bill,
perfect.
like put Bill O'Brien in the Miami spot, just to test to deal with that purgatory.
Let's switch from the gridiron and let's go to the hardwood floor. We're going to talk Boston Celtics basketball now. It's a heavy debate topic. The Boston Celtics have been up and down this year, but of course missing Kemba. So let's talk a little bit about it. Boston Celtics are a top what team in the NBA? In this segment, Chris and Luke will start us off. Chris, you've got the floor.
I'd put Boston in the 6 to 8 range right now. It really depends on how Kemba comes back, but Boston fans really just need to calm down right now. They're 5-3 without Kemba Walker. Jaylen Brown and Tatum are looking like the perfect 1A, 1B duo right now. Both of them look like they can make serious cases for all NBA selections.
Fire Edge.
That's exactly what they've been saying.
I'm with you, General.
And
Fire
obviously
Stevens.
they have that trade exception that they can use further down the line. But
charge a capital. Oh wait, no, that's different.
Yo, we ain't talking about that right now. But I think Ainge actually did a good job trying to recover from Hayward kind of leaving for almost nothing with that trade exception. Thompson's looking like he's going to be solid. Once Kemba comes back, he won't have to start alongside Tice, which is, I think, is one of the major problems of that lineup right now. And once Teague is healthy, once Kemba's healthy, they'll have those two solid guards so Marcus Smart doesn't have to run point. But right now, from what I've seen, they look like a solid team without Kemba. So once he comes back, it's only going up.
I love it, Chris. Let's just get another piece on this. Luke, what do you have for those Boston Celtics? What do you have? Where's their ranking at them?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I thought that was Luke Stansfield. I didn't understand that. just Luke was going to be doing basketball talk.
I'll take it if you don't want it, Luke.
In 2 weeks, we've had cornerback player of the year and Luke Stansfield mixed up into this.
Yeah. So, Job, if you want to just hop in on
so
that.
That's what I meant, Job.
The Celtics are a top 9 team in the NBA this year.
Specific.
Well, I don't want to say top 10 because then I'm just opting out, right? And I don't want to give them any higher than that because they're not better than that. Here's the deal: they haven't figured out their lineups yet, and you pretty much hit it on the head, Chris. They can't play 2 big men because they can't match up well with 2 big men. But they also, they have 6 guys on the roster who are, scrappy guys that you want at the end of the bench. But they have, the way that I look at it, 5 rotation players buried at the end of the bench that no championship team is going to put in their 8-man rotation in the playoffs. I'm sorry. I love his nickname, but Peyton Pritchard at 8 miles not going to do it in his rookie year in the playoffs. It's just that's not how teams win. You got to rely on your superstars, and as well as Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are doing. When Jason Tatum is not on the floor per 100 minutes in the last year and a half, the Celtics are minus 14. And minus 14 would put you in the bottom 5 in the league. When he's on the floor, they're in the 91 percentile of teams in terms of scoring efficiency. But when he's not on the floor, they're a minus 14. So until they can really, develop a lineup in which either Tatum and Brown or Tatum or Brown carry the team every night, I don't think they're there yet. They're not going to be a top 5 team in the league.
I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor on this one as well.
Yeah, hey, I got a question for Joe real quick. So you said Peyton Pritchard can't do what he did in
that one game stretch where he went, 23 points, 8 assists.
Well, I mean,
he's played good in pretty much.
But
every
he just
game
doesn't.
he's
He doesn't
been in,
need
though.
to do that though.
Yeah,
that's the thing. Boston's gonna have Teague and Walker when Kemba comes back. And although Teague's struggling right now, it's because he doesn't have Kemba to be that starting point guard. And like you said, in the playoffs, you're going to need those guys coming off the bench and being solid rotational pieces. And that's exactly why they brought Teague along. It's because he's that veteran point guard who can really calm things down, especially when we saw in that Miami series when they focused on Kemba, who was really their facilitator, and Brown's shot creation was kind of getting there, but he was still struggling, and Tatum was struggling. But they still focused on Kemba. There was nobody to come off the bench and really facilitate. They had to rely on Marcus Smart too much.
Right, but so, Chris, question there, right? Are you sick and tired of watching the Celtics give these half-ass drives to the basket and then kick for a 3 to somebody who really should be a bench player in the league? Because that's what I've watched for the first 8 games.
It's frustrating the way that some of these guys are playing, but you have to understand that the Celtics bench is the 3rd best 3-point shooting bench in the league right now. They're shooting 43% from 3, and they're also top 5 in field goal percentage. While they don't put up the most points from benches by any standard, I think they're 22nd, but they're efficient when they take those shots. So that's all that Brad's really asking them to do. It's kind of how it was constructed last year. He brings those guys in for specific scenarios, like Robert Williams only got specific time in certain series because he could be efficient in those situations. And I think that's why Peyton Pritchard is a good fit and has been a great surprise, because in those scenarios that Brad's putting him in, he's proven that he can get it done at least this early in the season. We'll see how the rest of the season goes. And hopefully Naismith comes along and he can be a guy that they can bring in for a couple threes and some solid defense. Steve and I talked about it on Slightly Biased. He's not really there defensively yet, but once he gets there, those are two great situational players that you can play and that they can be effective.
I don't want to take away from your argument. Your argument kicks ass there. But did I hear that there was a new episode of Slightly Biased?
Yes.
And
there's going to be another one recorded this weekend.
We're doing
I got
a question.
2 weeks in a row is Slightly
Go
Biased.
ahead, Sam.
Question for the Celtics fans. In a 7-game series, who's guarding Joel Embiid?
I don't think it's
Tristan
ever
Thompson.
mattered, to be honest.
Really?
Joel Embiid has gone off against us in every playoff series we played against Philadelphia. We beat Philadelphia in the playoffs every time. They'll give it to them.
It's the same way I look at the Bucks series every year.
We always have more firepower than Philly, and I mean Thompson will help limit that. No one. That's the one thing.
Giannis
How many
doesn't show up
guys
in the playoffs
when
anyways.
Joel Embiid is playing hard? How many guys in the league are there that can really just guard Joel Embiid when he's playing hard?
Not that many.
Maybe
Not many at all. So
maybe AD. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
AD and Giannis.
Maybe
a couple years.
Bam on a great day.
All right, let's take it to a different team that had some speculation and caused a lot of NBA Twitter to crash. Steph Curry went for 62 points, a career high for him. I let Jet, the local Warriors fanatic here, take this one. Steph Curry, 62 points, makes him what, Jet?
A bad man. Look, this is a strange year for Steph. And I know that the Twitter sphere has been back and forth of, I love Steph, or, oh, he's overrated. I think we just got to put in context his career to this point. He's always been a firm believer in getting everybody else involved in the game. That's why he's never really necessarily had the flashiest of statistics, even though he still puts up nice numbers. He's getting other people involved. He's letting them take their shots. Now, he's tried that this year, and evidently that's not working when it comes to a certain Andrew Wiggins and Kelly Oubre. Cough, cough. Yeah, you're telling me.
2 for 31.
Oh, so he started to kick it into high gear a little bit, and he's realized, I really got to go be that dude. Well, it looks like he can do that, and I'm excited to see the rest of the season, because if he can play like that for a full season, that's got another MVP written all over it.
I am one of the ones that doubt Steph Curry can carry a team a whole season. I'll be completely honest. I'm on that train, right? But of course, I'm on the Rockets side. So
I was going to say, you're also a James Harden fan.
I do not think he can do what James Harden does. I do see he did it for a game, which I'm excited about, because I hadn't seen that stuff this year.
You don't think that Steph Curry leave his team before practice to go to the strip club
and come back
after showing up overweight, and then come back and throw a basketball to rookie?
You forgot the part where he gets his jersey retired at the strip club.
You guys are also forgetting the part that he went 44-17 in his first game back. That's overweight, out of shape. Never played with his teammates before, and all of them were on COVID except for 5 G League players and Christian Wood, and they almost beat the Blazers in overtime. They lost. So let me just put it like this though. Steph Curry, I know I always go to James Harden when it comes to me. That's why I don't talk. But when it comes to Steph Curry, I was glad to see he had some fire. I don't like most said in Rockets Twitter, I don't like him shooting threes in the last 2 minutes when the game was done. I don't like that. And we got so much shit for that when James Harden was chasing 1 assist. I think it was last year or 2 years ago. He had a 60-15 triple double, and he just needed one more bucket. He would have had a career high for 63 points. And everybody was like, oh, he's acting up on the sideline. Okay, but Steph took like 6 threes in the last 2 minutes in a 50-point game.
So wait a second, Ernest. Are you telling me that Bradley Beal's as good as Steph Curry? Is that what you're trying to tell me? Because Bradley Beal right now is 55 in the third quarter, right? He's carrying the team for one game. And you're saying that they can both do one game, but they both can't carry a team?
I said, well, so far they've done it for one game. They haven't done it for a whole season. If that's what you're asking me, then
okay,
yes.
but Steph carried a team to 72 wins.
No,
I feel like it's important to note
Get out.
Steph,
he didn't. No, he didn't.
He made 400 threes.
He broke the record for threes.
400 3-pointers.
He had all-stars with him. He had all-stars
Yeah, but if
with
Russell
him.
Westbrook was on that team, do you think that they win 73 games?
Here's the thing.
Just Stephen Curry's sole presence creates shots for other people.
See, yeah, that's
the thing that a lot of people don't understand.
You have to define the word carry. When you talk about carrying a team, okay, you're talking about an MVP talent that does not have an all-star on his team, that has 7 rotation players that brings up the talent of those players and is a playoff top 4 team.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that MJ never carried a team then because he had Scottie Pippen.
I mean, he also had Phil Jackson. He also had Phil Jackson. I mean, the point is that when you talk about carrying a team, you're looking at players. Charles Barkley carried a Phoenix Suns team.
Okay.
I just think there's so many different ways.
He didn't have any stars.
I'm just hearing names of
there's
guys
so many
who haven't
different
won
ways to carry, though. I think Steph
Dwayne Wade carried a team.
Way. Like Kevin Durant carries a team in a scoring way, whereas Steph Curry carries a team in a leadership. I will do my job at the best ability possible, get my 20 to 30 points, make sure everybody else is getting their shots, make sure they're wide open because I'm fucking Steph Curry and they have to cover me. You know, like his leadership comes in a different variety than the normal, you know, he's going to go score 40 points.
Right.
It's the basketball IQ that puts him ahead of so many.
The thing that you guys, we're comparing apples and oranges. The reason I say James Harden carried a team is because James Harden has the ball 24/7 on the Rockets in the last few years. He doesn't anymore, but he did, right? And James Harden hasn't had the all-stars around him. Okay, you could say an older
Chris Paul was pretty good.
I mean, he was okay, but he was over his prime. He was
his prime. Yeah, that was one. That's one.
And then what? Who else? Dwight was
Russell
past
Westbrook?
his back injury. Obviously,
on the same team, Joe.
Russell Westbrook only played 32 games. He only played 32 games because he was hurt and got COVID. So I mean, let me just end it with this: James Harden gets double team across midcourt. No other player consistently over the course of the year. No other player.
Steph crossed the court against Portland. When Steph crossed the court, there's literally a picture of 4 players stepping up onto him.
I can give you 25 pictures of all the other teams doing that. James Harden consistently.
All I know, 80% of the defense concentrated on one player when he crosses half court.
Here was my challenge. This is what I say every year. You say what James Harden does. Averages 30 something plus points.
It's awesome. Yeah.
12 plus whatever.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Every fan base always says if my guy was put in the same position, we'd take him to so many wins and average the same amount of points if given the opportunity. Steph has the opportunity. Average it and make your team a contender.
Okay, so if he averages 20 points a game and they win more games than the Houston Rockets, are you going to say that he's carrying the team or not?
This year?
Because I would say yes. Yeah, I would say if he averages.
Yeah, this year I'd agree with you.
How many assists?
If you're saying that the Warriors,
but that's not going to happen. If they're going to win more games, he's going to have to score more than 20 points.
There's no way he averages 20 and they win.
Well, I was making
exactly. If you want to win 50 games, he has to average more than 20 points.
Yeah, it's never going to
happen.
happen.
He's going to have to lead the league in scoring. He's going to have to lead the league in scoring.
I think the main thing to acknowledge is that his shot selection, when he was coming into this season, he was expecting his shot selection to be the system that they run with Klay Thompson. And then Klay Thompson got injured about 2 weeks before the season.
It was a week before. Yeah.
A week before. And then their system has to change. And now all of a sudden his shots that he's taking are probably lower percentage shots, probably tougher, probably moving shots that maybe he wouldn't have to take if he had Klay Thompson on the court. So the first couple games where he was having some struggles, I think he was adjusting. I think that's pretty fair to acknowledge that his shot volume and his shot selection has had to change. But with those 62 points, I think that's just like a showing of what he can do. And I think he's going to do it more than once because he's Steph Curry.
To continue on to that, I never think that the debate of Harden and Steph makes any sense because I think they do completely different jobs.
It doesn't.
Agreed.
I don't think it makes sense.
Agree. Oh, great. All right, let's talk about power rankings and where we're ranking those teams so far in this season. We have a group of Lapsters that give us their rankings, and we get those consensus rankings, and then we look and debate them. Last week was terrible. I don't have them laid out this week, but I'm going to tell you guys how it came back. At number 11, and I only included 11 in the West because there was a tie for 11 and 10. At 11 are the Sacramento Kings, which is very different than last week, which I'm very excited about.
11.
Number 10 is the Warriors at number 10. Number 9, the Denver Nuggets. At 8, the Houston Rockets. At 7, the New Orleans Pelicans.
We're not even in this.
At 6, the Dallas Mavericks. 5, the Portland Trail Blazers. 4, Jazz. 3, Suns. 2, Clippers. 1, Lakers. Though that is your West standings from the Lapsters. I don't even know if they listen to the show at this point, but that is your West power rankings. Let's talk West first and see which ones they got right. Where do you guys agree with those power rankings?
That's all in the West.
Top 3 are fine. The top 3 are fine.
Lakers,
Sacramento about the Rockets over the Nuggets.
Yeah, it surprised me because I don't even have the Rockets over the Nuggets. So I don't.
Lapsters aren't perfect. They're pretty close, but they're not perfect.
Well, in my rankings, I have the Pelicans at 4 in the West. They're 7.
Okay, that's higher up.
They're real good.
Please explain to me how Dallas is 5th. How?
Yeah. Thank you.
Please explain me that.
Give me that pick.
They did have a good win a couple nights ago. Yeah,
they beat a team by 50 points, and now they're well beaten.
And Kawhi wasn't playing.
Exactly.
Now, wait a second. When they beat that team, did we make the rankings immediately after? When did people vote on the rankings? Because that changed.
This morning. That was this morning. Okay, this is a list from this morning. Yeah.
People don't forget.
It's hashtag last thing I saw.
Which one's the most preposterous ranking? Who's getting most disrespect on this list?
Sacramento? Going from 1st to 11th? Come on.
Yeah, that's pretty bad.
They shouldn't have been first in the first. 11th. They should have never been first. 11th's about right.
Listen, they're still
the Nuggets at 9.
Yeah, I was saying Nuggets at 9.
Yeah, Nuggets at 9 is outrageous.
Yeah, this is back-to-back weeks where Nuggets are just not in the right spot.
Nuggets were low twice.
Where's the Joker respect?
And I was about to go there, right? So where are we at with Jokic in the MVP talk, right? I mean, hasn't he been playing fantastic this year?
It's been amazing.
Top 5?
Unreal,
don't let Graham hear this.
Recognition for it. He plays quiet. He plays in a small market, and he's not a big personality. He's like the Mike Trout of the NBA in that sense. He's not a huge personality, and that's kind of why he gets disrespected. He does get to the playoffs. But I mean, that's kind of why he gets disrespected like that. He doesn't have that loud personality that the NBA players are becoming known for.
Yeah, and he just can't carry a team like James Harden. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Let's go to the East, where I know most of y'all have your stock, and let's start from the bottom again. At number 10, the New York Knicks. Number 9, the Cleveland Cavaliers. At 8, the Orlando Magic. 7, Atlanta Hawks. They fell. 6, the Miami Heat. 5, the Brooklyn Nets. 4, the Indiana Pacers. 3, the Milwaukee Bucks. 2, Boston Celtics, and 1, Philadelphia 76ers.
Whoa, I like these rankings.
Got the Nets over the Knicks.
I like this group.
I agree with this group.
There's a lot of movement because the East looked very different in one week.
Got the Nets over the Knicks?
I mean,
what's going on?
I like this group.
The best team in New York.
They like the Celtics more than Celtics fans do.
I know. I love that about the Labsters. They're really killing
one of the Labsters is a Boston guy, so it probably boosted that Boston ranking up. But let's talk about this. What do we like a lot? I mean, non-fan base. What makes sense on this list? Where are the right teams at?
I think Miami's in the right spot.
I'll say one team that makes sense because I support them. And Atlanta, this last week, 100% 7th place is completely fair. Like, we have been awful. Like, our bench depth with Gallo's been injured, Rondo injured, no Snell, no Okongwu. Like, just having no depth. Trey's not being good enough to lead a team like we just had with the Harden debate thing. Cam Reddish is literally throwing up bricks. DeAndre Hunter is just the only one holding our offense. So 7th place is definitely where we deserve to be off this week.
I will say, I think that the Hawks were 1 or 2 last week. So
we were one last week.
Yeah, they fell from grace. I think you guys were 4-0. So you guys fell from grace.
I will say, once Chris said the Celtics were up 15, the Heat have clawed back, and now it's a 1-point game. So We'll say
We're covering this game.
Celtics fashion, baby. Got to close it out close.
And the Knicks are only down 2. Let's get it.
I'd like to give a
third quarter yet. Like we're gonna.
I'd like to give a shout out to the Philadelphia 76ers. The acquisition of Seth Curry was a godsend. What a move. And it's worked out great for him, for his career, for that team. That was awesome. So it's good to see.
Sixth man of the year.
Well, it just goes to show you when you replace JJ Redick with Al Horford, things are going to look worse. And when you replace Al Horford for Seth Curry and Danny Green, things are going to look a little better when your 2 stars are people who can only score. Well, not Joel. Joel can score from outside, but 2 stars who like to get the majority of their points in the paint.
Can people also put some respect on Shake Milton? This guy's legit. I like him a lot.
I do want to say I called the 76ers being at the top of the rankings to start the year, way before many people.
What's it like to be in the top 10, or you guys? What's
yeah, I do. That was where I was going next, Andrew. 10, I know there was a Toronto Raptors not making the list, but somebody did make them number 10 over the Knicks on somebody's list. I'm not going to reveal who it was, but they did have them there. So I do want to make you know that they were 11. So feel good about that.
Now, hold on, wait a second. Have the Raptors taken into account that Miami's like one of 2 teams that has fans in the stands? Right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's 10. It's a total of 10 Raptors we have in this week's poll, and I got their consensus rankings privately. All of them sent them to me, so I just did the averages. But I do know that Miami was up there last week. I think they dropped a couple of spots. So the New York Knicks making a surprise appearance, though, and I know Sam's all about that.
Surprise!
Surprise
appearance
about it too.
Julius Randle was MIP.
Oh,
everybody knew that having a million power forwards was going to work. We all said it was going to work.
We got rid of them. We got rid of the other ones.
Yeah, we knew it.
We all knew it. Well, we got 5 power forwards, and then we just kind of ticked them off the list and knocked them out. That one that we liked, and then we got rid of the other ones.
They're like the Chicago Bears with tight ends.
Yeah, we just until we get one that we like, just keep recycling.
2 teams I want to talk about, right? The Cleveland Cavs at 9. Are the Cavs a real threat in the East as far as making the playoffs and making?
Not without Garland.
No.
Yeah. Okay. No. And Indiana Pacers
have a decent amount of talent, just not enough coordination.
They do have a really good duo. Sexland.
Sexland, yeah.
Drummond and Love up front. You could have a worse front court. I'm just saying, like, the talent's there. I just don't think the coordination is.
Defensively, you could.
Yeah, defensively, you have a lot to worry
about. Ernest, I know you just said Indiana. If you guys are going to talk about Jokic, possibly MVP candidate, Domantas Sabonis has got to be in the top.
Domantas Sabonis has been on an absolute tear.
He's been unreal.
Man, you think about who they have with Turner, Sabonis, and Oladipo. Like, that team is.
Malcolm Brogdon's been amazing as well.
Well.
Brogdon has been incredible on offense.
Yeah, I mean that's a solidified.
His 3 has been amazing.
Yeah. It's just weird to see them struggle.
So that Indiana package we were talking about before we got on about James Harden and taking any. I mean, Brogdon and Sabonis was part of that package to be rumored middle of the year for James Harden.
They ain't doing it now.
Yeah, you ain't happening now.
But that should have happened. Like I said, I really wanted that package. But unfortunately, that's gone.
How many strip clubs do they have in Indy? Because that's
not enough.
That's a big factor.
Not enough.
And it's cold there.
All right, guys.
I don't know how much he wants that.
That is the hardwood conversation for today. We got 2 more debates. This one's probably going to be the talk of the debate show between Will and Andrew in regards to what we had to all witness Sunday night with the benching of Jalen Hurts. The Philadelphia Eagles made sure the New York Giants had no chance of making the playoffs, which made us Cowboys fans feel much better about the loss. But Philadelphia should have played to win the game on Sunday Night Football. Talk to us, Will. Tell us why they shouldn't have.
You want me to go first?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
for
go,
sure.
Will.
Okay, well, I'm firstly going to say, like, no one, Philadelphia fan, any football fan in the world, wants to watch what happened on Sunday night. That was horrible viewing. Like, no one wants to see that. No one wants to see what was clearly tanking. But the one thing I will say is, if that game comes about and Washington are already on a 10-5 record and are sailing through into the NFC East, no one even bats an eyelid. No one talks about it. It happens. You lose your game. And also, for weeks and weeks, people have been going, oh, the New York Jets can't even tank right. They can't even lose all their games. What are they doing winning a game? How bad is that? and then Philly lose a game to try and get a better draft pick and favor them, and now everyone completely loses their head about it, I honestly think it's ridiculous. Look, no one wants to see it, but why risk a game? Why risk what they think is going to be their lead franchise quarterback going forward if you've got absolutely nothing to play for? Look, it was awful. No one wants to watch it, but we have zero incentive. The American sports system, from what I watch from over here in the NBA, NFL, is that you build your future is built on a draft, which is the worst teams from previous years get the best picks. It is an incentive to do badly if you have no incentives left in the season in terms of winning. So why on earth would we go out, risk our best players to win a game, which means nothing for us, when we have an incentive to get a better draft pick, get to 6th in the list, possibly get someone like Devonta Smith, who's just won the Heisman Trophy? For me, it just makes zero sense. And I can see it from the other perspective, no doubt. I can understand New York fans being completely livid because it makes sense. It's frustrating, but you have to also take it and look at it from the other side and say, Philly has no reason to win that game or rest any players. So, yeah, that's my perspective.
So Will says, trust the process. And we're going to move over to Andrew, which is the resident Cowboys fan here who got to watch that debacle. Talk to us, Andrew. Why should Philly have tried to win that game?
What's up with Philly and this whole trust the process bullshit? Anyways,
that's my line.
Nonetheless, listen, here's what I would say about this game. It upset me as a spectator, as a fan of the game. You don't pull – it's 17-14 at this point, okay? I understand draft pick, they can change your future, and I totally agree with Will on that 100%. We talked about it in the chat. I agree with him fully. 3 spots is a big jump. I get it. But you play with integrity. That's why people sign you $2 million contracts to play football. And let's not forget, they got flexed to the prime spot where people are like, all right, Sunday night, this game has a lot on the line. Washington's got to come out and win this game. We saw what happened earlier with the Giants and the Cowboys. Giants win. Again, they're 6-10, which shitty record, and it would be weird to see them into the playoffs. But don't get me wrong, that's been the NFC least all year. You get moved into a position where you're like, okay, let's showcase what we have as an organization, as the NFL, a brand. And that's what you pull on a Sunday night game. Jalen Hurts had the most confused face out of anybody else on the sidelines. The guy got pulled and he was like, what? You mean I'm done?
Andrew, I have a question for you.
Go ahead. I was going to keep going, but
so just real quick, the NFL moving them to Sunday, why should that incentivize the Eagles to play better? And that's the NFL's fault. There's other games they could have had meaning no matter what, right? I mean,
I think for Jalen Hurts too, I mean, this is a great way to be in the spotlight. I mean, listen, you have a $50 million quarterback in scrubs on the bench because you didn't believe in him. Well, why are you pulling your back up to see what you got in a 3rd-string quarterback? That makes no sense to me in the slightest. And we talk about quarterback starting and potentially, I know that Will brought up getting hurt and risking that. Well, listen, I mean, these guys are a little bit older, but Ryan played and he played lights out. Deshaun Watson played in a meaningful game and played lights out. I mean, you get paid millions of dollars to be on the field. And Doug Peterson made a boo-boo choice. I'm not going to say this is on the organization or a whole. I don't know if the GM said something to Peterson, but at the end of the day, man, it's embarrassing. You play the sport to win the game. You don't just tank on live TV. That is the worst thing I've seen in a long time.
Well, so Andrew, I agree with you that you shouldn't be trying to lose a game on TV. But here's the thing. Just like Will said, nobody cared at all when the Jets were literally about to win a game and said, hey, let's do an all-out blitz cover 0 when they have a 4.2 speed wide receiver. That will lose us the game on purpose.
Or when they had the
like
12 men on the field penalty.
And no one cared when the Jaguars went out and said, hey, well, fuck it. Since we won a game,
hey, but
we're not going to play Minshew. Hey, yeah, but Robinson's got an injury too.
Listen,
Jock's all banged up. Fuck it.
No. The reason why I'm not going to buy that is because those two teams are horrible, and we knew that they were tanked because they were both sitting at 1 win apiece. The Eagles at least had some pride, and we're like, okay, we're bad.
So why do people care that the Eagles lost the game on purpose, but they don't.
The Giants aren't in the
because
playoffs.
New York is
Jaguars
loud.
lost an entire season on purpose.
Listen, I'm just saying from a perspective as a fan of the game. As a fan of the game, we got robbed, and that's an absolute piss off because we want to see what Jalen Hurts is worth, right? We all know that this kid's got the hype, and for weeks we've been hearing nothing about this kid's a stud, this kid's a stud. Then you pull him at 17, 14. To me, I understand the logic of getting the draft pick. I agree fully, and I understand that. But it's just embarrassing as a spectator. Listen to you look at Philadelphia media, okay? We just said trust the process. How many damn years do we have to hear this goddamn saying, no matter what organization? It's embarrassing to the league, and I honestly think it's a black eye for what would have been a really fun game to watch. And I will say this. At the end of the game, having Chase Young or going down the field and saying, I want Tom, that fired me up. So I'm happy the good team won.
I have a point that I don't think a lot of people have taken into account, and that is that has anyone considered it's maybe not for the draft pick because, every other starter was on the field? Maybe it's the fact that this is their young franchise quarterback and they don't want to play him in a meaningless fourth quarter where he could get injured. I feel like that's an angle that a lot of people don't talk about, but the fact of the matter is that happens where people don't want to play their young quarterback because they want to protect him for the future.
No,
and
it bounced Sam's Giants from the playoffs, right?
But yeah, and I understand.
If the Cowboys had
won 6 games
and not the Giants, the outrage that would be coming from the rest of the world right now, it wouldn't just be everyone's upset with Philly. It would be, oh my God, the NFL fixed the Sunday Night Football game.
Again,
the Cowboys into the playoffs.
I'm just saying as a Cowboy fan, I said I wasn't taking anything away from that because a 6-10 team doesn't deserve to be in the playoffs regardless.
I agree with that.
I took Washington to win that division, even though I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, and Washington was the best team and they won the division. So congrats to them, I guess, in all things considered, because it's really taken away from who won that game. So congrats to Alex Smith, who the team rallied around again and is off to the playoffs.
I'll tell you what, Jalen Hurts is a Cowboys fan, so he would have won the game.
My only issue is the issue comes from the system. Like, you have to provide a different incentive because
here comes the draft lottery. Oh no.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying either you win and you try and win the whole thing and you win the Super Bowl and make the playoffs, or you lose and you're like, what are we playing for?
Ernest, I will ask you this. What are the odds after watching that debacle of a season that Doug Peterson is a coach for the Eagles next year?
I'll end this segment with an answer. It is 5% because the Eagles are just that stupid to bring him back. 0. All right, the final debate piece ends with Steven Davis, and Davis has been looking forward to this the entire night before we go to round 2 and bring on Ashley to lead us in over there. This quarterback will be starting for the New England Patriots next year. Davis, you have the mic first.
Could you go to Steve first? I want to hear what
Steve, you have the mic first.
I actually know. I don't know who's going to start for the Patriots. No one does. It's not going to be Cam Newton. It's not going to be Jarrett Stidham. It's not going to be Jimmy Garoppolo. That's all I got.
It's not going to be Tom Brady.
I'd like to hear what someone else has to say. I'm open to hearing. I'm open to hearing opinions.
Here you go, Steve. All right. So I was going to say this quarterback just to piss you off. That would have been Jameis Winston. But I know you're not a fan of that. But so I actually think
it's also not going to be Andy Dalton, Boston media. They are not signing Andy Dalton. I know that was on 98.5. That's not happening.
So I actually like the scenarios. So the Patriots get a top pick in the NFL draft. Jet, who would you like your team to go after? Right? It's Carson Wentz.
No, I said first Matthew Stafford.
Yeah, but it's
the answer is Alex Smith.
That Carson Wentz is going to go to Indianapolis. Anyways, if a veteran quarterback goes to Indianapolis, then that means Phillip Rivers is going to go to the Patriots. Oh. And his backup is going to be Mac Jones. And then Mac Jones is going to take over.
If Phil doesn't retire, he's going to be again.
Phil already said he wants to play another year.
Exactly.
It's not going to be an Indy. It's not going to be an Indy.
Of Phillip Rivers, you thought I would like your scenario.
No. Hey, listen. You get a year to build your wide receiver core, which Bill's probably not going to do, but still that gives you an opportunity to do for Mac Jones to take over year 2.
Why would Bill not?
I'm right there with you, Davis.
Did you have any idea what happened in the 2006 offseason? I'll tell you. We had no wide receivers, and then we had a bunch of cap space. And then all of a sudden, we have one of the best wide receiver cores in the history of football.
All right. I know this is going to
until the New York Giants
came. It's going to upset Steve, but here we go. Receptions through 21 career NFL games. 47 receptions is T.O. 46 is Tim Brown. 45, N'Keal Harry. 44, Lynn Swann. 39, Charlie Joyner. All of those guys are Hall of Famers except N'Keal Harry. He's going to pan out. All right. Want me to do this?
Oh, my God.
Get out of here, Joe.
I'm just kidding.
Joe comes in with the Skip Bayless take of the day.
I said, bring it in, Joe. Don't make us go further out.
No,
What's
you
wrong
know
with
what? You know what? I'm going to say this. If you watch N'Keal Harry on the film this year, he improved a lot from last year.
He can't separate. He
Yeah,
can't separate from a marriage. Can't separate from a route. He couldn't separate from.
Oh, Joe, I love it.
He couldn't separate his shoulder.
Davis,
just let it on fire and walk away.
Davis, I like the Phillip Rivers take. The only man who can throw a football and drink a beer the same way. All right, Ashley, bring us in. Where did
Kraft loves kissing kids when they win the Super Bowl. So.
Oh my God!
You got 9 of them right there.
Whenever I meet you, Davis,
there's plenty with Phillip Rivers.
No matter who's starting at quarterback for the Patriots next year, 85% of their fans won't be happy.
This is how Dan Le Batard got dropped for this kind of content. Actually.
All right, guys. Round 1 was brought to you by Living Your Best Cigar Life. Check out the latest player to the game at livingmybestcigarlife.com with over 1,500 premium cigars, various size humidors, gift sets, name brand accessories, and monthly specials. Don't forget, any orders online, type My Best Cigar Life in all caps for a $10 discount today. And of course, don't just live your life, live your best cigar life.
That is beautiful. Let's go right to round 2 and now to ring us in. All right, that's the bell. It is NFL Wildcard Pick'em. This is why you stuck around. This is why you fast forward through the podcast so you can get to this content right here and know exactly where your picks are going. We are going to go in order from Saturday during the day all the way to Sunday night. That means we are starting with Jets game. That is right. Indianapolis Colts going to Buffalo is the Saturday game. Buffalo 6.5-point favorites to close today in the books. So, Jet, we start with you. Talk to us about this game.
I will take Darius Leonard for all of the great plays to happen for the Colts. Thank you.
Jets going with Indianapolis to start off. That is an upset pick.
No, he's just going with the player, Darius Leonard.
Oh,
we're just dressing Darius Leonard.
Oh. Yeah, he's just saying Darius Leonard will have a
we
good
will
game.
win because of
your starting quarterback, your
okay.
starting wide receiver, middle linebacker.
So Jet says Phillip Rivers, future Patriot, is going to lead him to a win. Davis, who do you have in this game?
Mute.
Well, no, it was not a mute. I was getting to the mute button. That is not a mute. Okay, so, I mean, Jet, I'm sorry, but the Bills are going to blow out the Colts.
Oh, it's not a blowout.
It's a blowout. It's going to be like 40-20, something like that, like 42-23. I mean, you don't really see these wildcard games. And plus, we have to take into effect that the Bills Mafia is in the stands this week. So, give me Josh Allen and –
That's
what was
like
that again,
never
Jet?
really done much for them in their playoff history anyway.
No one circles the wagons like the Buffalo Bills. So give me the Bills.
Davis is not wrong. Job, who do you have in this game?
So you saw the model. No one else has seen it yet. Indy has a 31% chance of winning this game, but they're going to cover with +7.
So you're taking Buffalo to win, but not cover in this game.
Buffalo to cover, but not win. By the half point from 6.5 to 7. It opened at 7. It's now 6.5. By the half point.
He says by the half point. What are you doing, Andrew?
Man, I've been saying all year that Indy's defense is a different maker, and defense wins championships, folks. Indy.
He's taking the upset as well, Paul.
I'm taking the Bills. I just feel like I don't know how they'll do outside that dome, and I don't trust Phillip Rivers when it really matters. He'll throw a crucial pick, and the Bills will ice it like 31-17.
Beautiful, beautiful. Steve.
I really didn't want to do this, but
Here we go.
I have to take Buffalo to win this game.
Damn it, Steve. What kind of Patriots fan are you?
Just like Paul said, I just can't trust Philip fucking Rivers, and he will not be the quarterback of the New England Patriots.
I was say, if you have him next year, that's going to be an interesting ride.
Dude, I got myself to like Cam Newton this year. I'm not going to be able to get myself to like Phil Rivers. Guarantee you.
Schedule me into Slightly Biased when they sign Philip Rivers.
No doubt.
Mark, this is the 64-minute
point. A loony bin.
Just Luke.
I'm more concerned about what Frank Reich shows up. Is it going to be the Jonathan Taylor 2 carries in the fourth quarter against the Steelers, or the second half against the Steelers? Or, I mean, John Taylor literally had 240 yards last week by himself? Yeah,
253.
But I'm going to take the Bills by 10.
Get all hyped up.
Taking the Bills to win and cover on this one. Will.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, obviously, Josh Allen's been a different animal this year, but what they want to see is him deliver in the playoffs and see this offense deliver in the playoffs. And I think they're going to do that. And I think Buffalo are going to send a real statement in this wild card round and win and cover.
I am taking Buffalo to win and not cover in this game. I think Buffalo jumps ahead, but Indianapolis closes the gap in the fourth. Closes the gap in the fourth, but I don't think they get there. I think Rivers does what Rivers does, throws a pick.
For Jet's sake, I hope Indy win.
But Jet, I'm usually good about supporting, but I mean, I think I'm speaking way ahead of turn, but I do think I want to see an Allen Rodgers Super Bowl. I just think I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to see
it. Absolutely do.
Hashtag not in our lifetime tour.
I would. Oh my God.
As long as Brady doesn't.
I would have to have a Mahomes Allen AFC Championship game and then a Rodgers Allen Super Bowl.
Chris,
oh my God. Shoot me now.
Chris, I did not forget about you. You are Fantasy Implications 101, even though there's no more fantasy football. So talk to us. Who do you have in this game?
It was a tough end to the fantasy season. Shout out to Jet. He was my formidable opponent in that semifinal round.
Sorry, buddy.
It was my fault for not playing Corey Davis. But yeah, I'm going to take the Bills to win this one. Sorry, Jet. Got to go against you because you beat me in fantasy. But
understandable.
You get it.
And I do want to have the grim announcement. It is a torn left ACL for Fultz. So shout out to him. That's going to be a recovery.
I got a question for you. Is that with him having to fix his shot and now this? Do you think his career might be in a little bit of jeopardy?
No,
I think his ceiling comes down.
He looked amazing. He looked amazing this season. From what
this is the same injury that kept KD out for 2 years, right?
No, KD had a ruptured Achilles. And AC, he'll be out for a year, and it'll take another year for him to get 100%.
Sorry, my phone cut out, so I didn't hear.
And he'll still suck.
Fultz is a solid point guard. He'll bounce back.
He's not a generational talent, but I think his ceiling goes down a bit from where it was, just because of another injury.
Where was it? I don't know where it was.
We don't know. That's the thing, but it wasn't
a prominent starter. A prominent starter. I that was a ceiling. I'm not saying that's what he's gonna do.
A future good.
I have just acquired Cole Anthony. Thank you.
Yeah, good pickup.
All right, let's talk Seattle Seahawks football. Seattle, the second game on Saturday, 3-point favorites. That is closed down to the COVID Rams. I mean, Los Angeles Rams trying to go for the COVID trifecta. That's what it was, COVID trifecta. Yes. Seattle, 3-point favorites at home. Let's go down the list. Sam, I'll call on you as the other half.
So I think Seattle's ultimately going to win this game. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think, though. I have the Rams covering 3.5. I got it at 3.5. If you have it at 3, my principal cardinal rule is always to buy up to 3.5 just to avoid that field goal push. But I do think this is going to be a closer game than people think, regardless of who starts at quarterback. The Rams are a running football team, and the Seahawks have a horrible defense. So I'll give it to the Rams on the spread.
Gotcha. Chris, fantasy implications.
Well, Russell Wilson didn't show up for my fantasy playoffs, so I don't expect him to show up for the real life playoffs. So give me the Rams on this one.
Chris is going with the Los Angeles Rams. I'm still rooting for the COVID trifecta, so go Los Angeles Rams for the upset pick for me on Saturday. Paul.
Finally, the Seahawks have their offensive line back. This year, when they have their 5 starting offensive linemen, they're averaging almost 40 a game. They will handle the Rams on Sunday. Seattle.
Hold on. No one handles Aaron Donald though.
Yeah, you gotta.
Like they might.
That man is a different animal.
They're not gonna handle Aaron Rodgers. Come on, Paul.
He's a different animal, but the same beast.
They dropped 30 on the Rams. That's what I say.
Oof.
Luke.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm gonna go with Dangerous, of course. I mean, but I'm just telling you right now, the Seattle defense has done a complete 360 from the first 11 weeks to right now. I mean, just in the last 5 weeks, first in points, second in total yards, third in passing yards, and red zone touchdowns, second in the league. Give me Dangerous and the Seahawks at home.
Beautiful, Andrew.
Give me one guy that's been the reason for that, Jamal goddamn Adams. Man, that guy has balled out the last few weeks.
He's hurt.
Yeah, and that's what I was just going to. With him being hurt, man, and Cooper Kupp just got activated off the COVID list now too, so that's another threat that terrible defense has to worry about. I like the Rams in this game.
Andrew goes Rams. Davis.
Well, you guys talked about Aaron Donald. Can't really stop him. We can't really stop Jalen Ramsey either. I mean, he's really good defensively, probably one of the top cornerbacks in the league, but Seattle has one of the best wide receiver duos in Lockett and Metcalf. So he's going to have to guard one of them, and the other one's going to get all the receptions.
That's my question for Seahawks fans. Who the hell do they go to? Like, they always just choose one guy. You know what I mean?
It depends on who –
on who Ramsey shadows.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I guess. And it's going to be DK.
Ramsey don't shadow.
He doesn't shadow. Yeah.
He don't shadow.
I say this every time you guys say
exactly.
That. Ramsey does not shadow.
He stands on one side of the field.
He's a left guy.
I should say, whatever side of the field he's on, they're throwing to the other side. So
that's better.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks just because Jared Goff, we don't know his status for the game.
They're better off without him.
Exactly. But he's coming off thumb surgery. So it didn't look really good a couple days ago. So give me the Seahawks.
Perfect. Jet.
I smell something in the air, and it smells like Tyler Lockett touchdowns. Give me the Seahawks.
That was one of the lamest
that was terrible.
ways anyone's ever picked on this show.
He's going Seattle. Will.
Yeah, I think upset. I don't think it matters who starts at quarterback for the Rams. I think this run game's going to be dangerous, and Aaron Donald's going to be dangerous as well. Give me the Rams for the upset.
Attaboy, Will.
Beautiful. The voice of ITL has chosen Seattle for this game. Let's take our talents out to Washington. Oh, sorry.
Didn't even get a chance.
What'd you pick, Steve?
Seattle.
Well, I already had that in there. I knew you were going Seattle. All right. You'll start this one. I had you in the mindset for this one. Washington hosting Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I didn't even get to mention that the whole thing was that Brady paid off the Eagles so he didn't have to face the New York Giants in the playoffs. But we'll just talk Washington and Tampa Bay.
He actually could have done that.
I am sure he did.
My number one tweet of the day, by the way.
He could have done that.
You're welcome. Tampa Bay 8-point favorites on the road. That's what it closed at today. Steve, talk to us. What is Brady going to do to Washington this weekend?
Tampa's going to win this game. They're more talented too. But I'm not taking. You said 8 points. I saw 8.5.
Is that 8
earlier?
It's at 8 now.
That's way too much.
Too much.
I'm not laying that line. That's a good Washington defense. That's a good team they've got there. They don't have the firepower to match up with playoff Brady and all those weapons around him. It's just as simple as that. And that I want Tom thing from Chase Young. Patriots fans, Brady fans are all freaking out that he's talking shit. No, dude, what do you want him to say? He wants to go lose to Tom Brady. First of all, the kid's probably in awe of Tom Brady. I think he was like 1 year old when Brady was drafted.
Yep.
He's like amazed that he's even going to go play against this guy. So let's not overreact to that.
Yep, I absolutely.
What happens if Mike Evans is out?
He is out. He's super out.
Is he confirmed out? That doesn't change your opinion.
Oh yeah.
It means a big Antonio Brown game coming up.
Yeah, they still got Brown, Godwin.
If I have to watch
playoff Gronk.
If I have to watch AB, Brady, and Gronkowski hoist the Lombardi Trophy, this will be my You won't
They
see
will
me on the
not hoist the Lombardi.
They will
Trophy.
not
Don't
hoist
you
the
worry
Lombardi.
about
Let's
it.
not get ahead of ourselves. We're
Don't
talking
you worry
about the
about that
NFC
one.
East
I
representation
was
right
just,
now.
I was just upset.
Will, talk to the people. Who you got?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yes,
Sorry,
you're Will.
Yeah, you are Will.
I can hear. I really hope Washington wins so we can just see even more raging Giants fans on Twitter for letting Philly lose. However, yeah, we just talked about this offense of the Bucs, and without Evans, I think they'll win but not cover.
Perfect. Joe.
So we got Tampa Bay at -7. That's what our model loves. If you don't have -7, buy down to -7. They're going to win. They're going to cover 7. They will not cover 8.5.
Nice little 1 touchdown game.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Andrew.
Oh, this is a tough game for me. Is Ronald Jones in right now?
Yes.
Will he be starting?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say Fournette versus Gibson. I would say give me Gibson all day. Man, this team has rallied the hell around Alex Smith, and he's going to be on the field for a playoff game, which none of us thought was going to happen. And this team has always looked so good when he's on the field. They're 4-1, folks, when he's been the starting quarterback of the Washington football team. Not going to make that mistake that I did last week. I would also
make it
like
on
to
every
say,
one of our shows.
I would
Every
also
time.
like to say the defense in Washington is so good. Oh, give me the upset. I'm going to go with the football team in this game.
Wow.
Yes.
You're a braver man than I, Andrew. I love
Listen.
Andrew's going to go 0-3 in the NFC.
No, listen.
Yeah,
I'm going to say this right now.
Picks are wild this week,
Logan,
dude.
the big thing that they've got activated, they've got Logan Thomas activated. Terry McLaurin had another big game. Gibson's back in the lineup.
Oh man, they got Logan Thomas.
Oh my God, Logan
Thomas. Shit, they got that Virginia Tech college quarterback and tight end. Oh man,
Thomas was awesome this year.
Yeah, I was gonna say he just had 2 back-to-back 100-yard games.
He mossed somebody.
He was not awesome this year. He was awesome in the last
Tom Brady
like
4
weeks.
game. Stop. We're not gonna put Moss and Logan Thomas in the same sentence again.
He just said, listen, no, I didn't say that. I said
I said that, and I'll stick to it. He got somebody in the end zone. Went over the top of them.
They've got him activated. They got an offense that's rolling. Okay, that's all I'm going with.
All right, so Andrew
scored 20 points.
Making sure that Andrew did not say the compare Logan.
Talk to us a little bit.
Right.
Talk to us a little bit, Jet.
Andrew, I can keep you then.
Well, if there's one thing I know, and it's got a lot to do with Tom Brady, it's that when he does lose, which isn't often, it's because the pass rush got to him. This is a very good pass rush.
Very good.
But not good enough. So give me the Buccaneers.
A little bit of a tease.
Perfect.
God damn
Davis.
it, Jet.
Oh my God. Dwayne.
Oh, let's go. Was that Avonte Maddox, baby?
That was a Dwayne Haskins pick.
All I'm seeing is Dwayne Haskins highlights.
Yeah.
All I'm seeing is some solid secondary at Philly here.
Dwayne Haskins' greatest hits right here. Wide open.
Logan Thomas.
Yeah,
Logan Thomas.
Wide open.
Nobody catches wide open passes like Logan Thomas.
Logan Thomas.
Nobody hits wide open.
only
nobody
Randy
else.
Moss.
Damn,
Like
look at
Dwayne
this
Haskins.
secondary coming
Only
up big
Logan
for Philly.
Thomas and Randy
Jeez.
Moss can do that.
Look at all these open receivers. That's what we do.
This has become a Logan Thomas stand show.
Oh, I fucking love it.
Is that Randy Moss? No, wait, that's Logan Thomas.
How did Dwayne Haskins go awry with Randy Moss on his side?
This doesn't count. We've got Jalen Mills in the game.
Yeah.
I've scared Davis from talking. Davis, talk.
Scared. I'm not scared at all. The Bucs are gonna roll.
To cover?
Yeah.
Wow. Davis taking.
Well, Andrew said this offense was rolling when they scored 20 points against Philadelphia. Give me a break.
And Smith's first game back, man.
Wait, leave it out, man.
Down.
Leave it out, Davis. What are you on about?
Luke, talk to us.
Yeah, so Tampa's on the road. Tampa plays better on the road. This is the best. This is a great front seven, but the back end's just not good enough to keep up with the weapons that Brady has at his disposal. They won't cover 8, though. I don't think they'll cover 8. I
That's
think
a lot.
It'll be a field goal. Just weird.
Perfect. Just Paul.
If you can get to Brady with 4, and the Redskins can, you have a chance to win the game.
Wait,
Be careful with that word now. Come on now. They're the Washington football team.
Who are they playing? Say win.
Oh, yes, it wasn't me this time.
I didn't say. What did I say?
I heard a color.
I can't tell you what you said. Good
I
one,
heard a
Paul.
color and a specific organ.
Yeah, I can't tell you what you said.
What?
If I say what you said, then I get in trouble.
Anyway,
Rojo epidermis.
If they can get there, if they can get home, they can rattle them. But I just think they play too conservative on offense, and it ends up getting them into trouble. And I'm right with where Sam and Job and these guys are. It's a 7-point game. They handle business and get out of there with a win. But Brady takes some hits. I mean, some hits.
Well, I mean, that's just a staple of the Bruce Arians offense.
Yeah. But he's going to take some. I mean, he's going to take shots that we ain't seen playoff Brady take.
Watch out for Montez.
I love this. I love this take, Paul.
Washington is going to win the first quarter and lose the game 35-7. That's my take. That's my take right here. Tampa Bay rolls.
So what you're saying, it's like the Packers game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Chris, fantasy implications.
No team with the name The Football Team deserves to win a playoff game. You're all fucking football teams, and you're going to lose to the better one. Give me the Bucks.
Oh, my God, Chris. Are you kidding?
That was a pretty good line.
Take of the night.
That one's pretty good.
Are you kidding me?
Take of the night. I will say this, Chris. You're crazy. All right. Baltimore starts off our Sunday games. 3.5-point favorites is what they closed tonight. Going on the road to Tennessee. We didn't even mention what the motto had predicted for Tampa Bay. It was high, wasn't it, Joe?
Tampa Bay -7.
Yeah.
What about predictability on winner? 75%, I think.
75%. 75.21%.
That's crazy, but not the first quarter. All right, so Baltimore 3.5-point favorites on the road against Tennessee. We'll start this in the middle. Just Paul, talk to us about this game.
The Tennessee defense is atrocious, and I expect Lamar to actually show up this time, and they go on the road and get this W. I think they can contain Derrick Henry enough, and I think that the Ravens are in the perfect spot, flying under everybody's radar this year instead of out in front. And I wouldn't want that's a bad draw for Tennessee. Give me the Ravens.
I'm taking Baltimore to win and cover as well. Just Luke.
I'm going to go with the Ratbirds.
Perfect. Steve, you're back.
I hate doing it, but I am going to take the Ratbirds as well. I don't know what happened to this Tennessee team, but I just can't trust them. What did you say that spread is?
3.5.
3.5. Yeah, I'll take that spread.
Perfect. Sam, talk to us about the source.
Imagine a world where Tennessee bounces Baltimore from the playoffs, and then this year they beat them, and now they're at home. And just because the Ravens ran 40 points up on the Bengals, people think they're hot enough to beat them this time. I don't understand how they came out as 3.5-point favorites. I have Tennessee money line. I'm taking them all the way. If you want to just take spread, 3.5 is fine. You can cover with that field goal as well. But I think Tennessee is winning this game. Baltimore does not know how to figure out Derrick Henry. Their run defense is still slow. And I don't really think that these offensive outbursts against bad teams are going to matter when it comes down to the thick of it.
And the model has them at 52.8% chance to win the game.
Thank you, Jeff.
Chris, fantasy implications.
Well, Derrick Henry was my number one pick, so I feel like I should be a little give credit where credit's due because he kind of carried me through most of the season. But I'm going to go with the Ravens because I didn't win, so.
Yeah, take that, Derek. Have fun at home. Well, I am too. Davis.
This is going to be a repeat of last year. The Ravens are almost coming into this game just like they did last year, beating bad teams and making themselves look good for the playoffs. Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball because he has no targets. And especially in the playoffs, you're going to pass it to Marquise Brown in the playoffs? Okay.
Don't you disrespect Des Bryant that way.
I literally go to Oklahoma State, Andrew, and I know he's washed. Okay. Give me the Titans to win.
But you guys are acting like the Titans are a good team.
They're not.
They're getting shredded on the defensive side.
By people
who keep up with anybody, though.
By people who can pass the ball. The Ravens can't pass the ball. All they do is run.
Right.
All you're going to watch is run.
Heavy. Jet, talk to us. AFC South rival.
I had this discussion with Harrison actually, and I came to the realization that when it really came down to the thick of the game, I thought it was going to be close. It was going to be a tight game. It was probably going to come down to whoever had the ball last. And in that scenario, who do I trust more to go and finish the game? I trust Ryan Tannehill to win the game over Lamar Jackson, and that's why I'm taking the Tennessee Titans.
Fair.
Perfect. Andrew.
Oh, this has been my toss-up all week, man. This is a really hard game to go on. I know that Lamar Jackson obviously wants to come out of the gate and prove everybody absolutely wrong that he's not a playoff performer. And he has to utilize those legs right quick. Like that, like Paul said, that defense in Tennessee is really, really bad. But on the other flip side of things, Derrick Henry can control the game immediately. The second that he starts running, look out. And I mean, it's going to be hard to shut that boy down because, he's going to get 30, 40 touches this game at least. Yeah, I like Tennessee's chances in this game. Give me Tennessee.
All right, Will, you're up next.
This Tennessee defense is just not good. Lamar's thrown for 8 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. Like, people cannot just keep using this blanket sentence, guy can't throw the ball, all right?
No, he can.
It's the Bengals. It's the Bengals. Hold on.
The Bengals.
It's the Bengals.
He's 8 touchdowns in the last 3
Who
weeks.
beat the Titans? Who beat the Titans?
They're playing the Titans.
Well, I said that Baker Mayfield.
Steelers.
Everyone was just like, oh, I hope the Bills don't go up against the Titans because Josh Allen will shred the secondary. Lamar Jackson can still throw the ball. He'll prove it. He'll put a statement game out, and Baltimore win this game easy.
As a Colts fan, I hope you're right. I'd love to see that.
People on this podcast halfway through the year said Lamar Jackson wasn't even a top 15 quarterback. Disgraceful behavior.
Whoever said that's on the podcast.
Will, I'm laughing with you because when you said
I host it, it's unfortunate.
Lamar,
no, I think I had him 13 or 14. I don't even remember.
And also, I don't know what his record is in the red zone. It's like 45 touchdowns, no interceptions, something like that. So yeah,
the voice of go ahead, Andrew.
Well, I just want to say that when Baker went for 10 touchdowns and 1 interception, everybody shit on me for that. So I feel your pain when you're going with Lamar right now.
Yeah,
don't worry, we'll have time to talk about Baker. The voice of ITL has chosen Baltimore to win this game and cover. Let's talk about Chicago, New Orleans, the Nickelodeon game of the week. Get slimed.
Let's go.
Get slimed. All right.
First of all, is anyone taking Chicago
against the spread? Yeah, not the
spread, not the
game.
Yeah,
not spread wise. We're not. We'll talk spread in a minute.
I will say it'll be the most New Orleans Saints playoff team ever to lose to the Bears on the last play. I might add.
So, is anybody taking the Saints to cover in this game?
Wait. Are we not saying who? Are we not going through who's going to win?
Well, we kind of don't waste time if we're all picking the Saints.
Everyone's going to pick the Saints. They're all going to be right.
I'm not picking the Saints.
Okay, let's go down the list.
There we go. The Maverick.
I am ending with Will then. Sam, talk to us about the source. What do you guys have for this game?
So, obviously, I don't think that the Bears can beat the Saints, but I do think that they can cover a 10-point spread. I think it's a little bit high. Personally, what we have it at is the Saints to win this game by a field goal just about. I think, honestly, it might be a little bigger, say 5-6 points, but I don't see this game getting to a double digits kind of game, especially with the Bears defense playing the way they do. They actually are a pretty strong defensive unit, and they have a lot of, shall I say, energy on that defensive unit. And they have the playmakers necessary. Khalil Mack and Eddie Jackson can make some plays. So I think that they have the possibility to keep this game close. I just don't think that they can win it or get close to winning it.
Beautiful. Just Paul.
I feel the same way. I'm not going to waste a bunch of time with this. Like,
thank you.
The Bears they've been playing good. Mitch has been playing good, but it's just good. It's not enough to go down there in the dome and win.
Davis.
Saints win. It's Mitch's team next year.
Oh my gosh, Andrew.
I don't know. I agree with Davis. It's Mitch's team next year. He's balled out these last couple weeks, and then they put him in a playoff position. So, but the Bears don't have enough to take this game.
Will.
Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks are coming, baby. Give me the Bears.
Boy.
Drew Brees.
You have our pride.
Scared, boy. You better be scared. David Montgomery's going to go off with the run game.
Give
me the Bears.
Will, I could see Khalil Mack and Akeem Hicks just
if there is
trying to pound Drew Brees in those ribs.
If there is any X
Taysom
factor
Hill
for
can
this
still
team,
beat the Bears.
No, David Montgomery's
No.
going for 130 yards.
Oh, God.
2 touchdowns.
Chris,
If
fantasy
Taysom Hill
implications.
plays and the Saints win, it's not Taysom Hill.
Give me
beating
the Saints.
It's Sean Payton.
Let's just move on.
Make that known.
To cover?
Oh, Remick.
He's taking the Saints to cover.
This
Steve.
is NFL wildcard weekend. Loads
Saints,
of random shit happens in this week.
I'll take the Saints. I don't know how I feel about that 10-point spread, but fuck it, I'll take it.
All right, he's taking the Saints to cover. Luke.
New Orleans Saints at home equals win.
To cover?
No.
Not to cover. Not to cover win.
It didn't last year.
You guys keep talking about the New Orleans Saints and how big of a win it's going to be. I'm going to talk about the New Orleans Aints. I'm taking the Bears to win this weekend. They are going to pull off this upset for all the kids out there to become Chicago Bears fans on Nickelodeon Slime Time.
Let's go.
He has to take the Bears. Well, so don't get too happy. He has relatives, and he has to take them, or he gets
Nick Foles
shit.
fourth quarter.
That's very
just
true.
so you know.
Our funding is cut if I don't
Nick
take
Foles is going to be lifting another Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Jet, talk to us.
I cannot imagine the type of damage that the Saints defense is going to do to Mitch Trubisky. They're going to blow them out of the fucking water, man.
Seeing ghosts
Hey,
again.
Jet, I actually did like
That was Sam Darnold.
suggestion. If they do knock out Mitch, then Nick Foles comes in. We all know what he does in the playoffs.
That's
I
clutch
literally just
right
said
there.
that. I just said
That's
that Nick
clutch.
Foles fourth quarter, he's coming.
That is clutch.
He's
Mitch,
Okay.
Mitch
Can I
plays
put a
the first
star
3
on my
quarters, and they're leading 17-13, and then Nick Foles comes in to finish off the
Next.
game.
If
That's
Nick Foles comes
Next.
in the fourth quarter in a close game, I'm
Next.
Hey,
Big Dick
Nick,
Nick.
They've got
Nick
to move up their
Foles
sleeve.
is-
Bears. It's coming. The Bears
Nick Foles
special.
is the Mariano
Let's-
Rivera of football.
Let's
Stop.
finish
Whoa.
off. Let's finish off with
Next.
with the playoff game of the week.
Next with
Playoff
that
game of the
bullshit.
week. Cleveland Browns visit the Pittsburgh Steelers in a rematch from Week 17. Hardly a rematch because none of Pittsburgh really played. Pittsburgh 6-point favorites at home to end our discussion. Now, I do want to just caveat right back to our last pick. The New Orleans Saints, but per the model, is 83.5-point favorites to win. So just giving that out there. I want to make sure we shout that out. Job, I'm starting with you before I go to the Pittsburgh guys. What does the model say about Pittsburgh hosting Cleveland?
Okay, so I'm going to be totally honest. I took Pittsburgh -3 before all the COVID stuff came out. The line is now 7. I like Cleveland +7, or rather, we like Cleveland +7. If you don't take Cleveland +7, then you're falling in love with the Steelers team, and they're frauds. They're frauds. You should go talk to. You got to talk to the Just brothers about that, but they're frauds.
They're absolute frauds.
So Pittsburgh, but not to cover. Just Paul, talk to us.
We're going to knock the Browns out of the playoffs. That's where we're at this week. Steelers.
Are you covering 6 points?
You couldn't do it last week.
I'd never lay points like that with the Steelers. They fuck around too much.
Mm-hmm.
They fuck around too much.
Just Luke.
Well, just like my boy Mike Tomlin says, there's a fine line between drinking wine and squashing grapes. Well, guess what? We're squashing some fucking grapes this weekend, boys. Give me the Steelers.
I don't know who it was behind Paul's voice right now when he was talking about Pittsburgh, and they were like, I just pictured like a group of girls behind, like, Davis.
Okay, there's a lot of moving pieces in this game because from what I've seen, Kevin Stefanski's not even going to be coaching this game.
No.
I mean, he's probably going to be the coach of the year, and he's not even going to coach his team that he led to the playoffs first time since 2002. And let me add once more that Mason Rudolph just outplayed Baker Mayfield in Week 17
and lost.
Okay, be quiet, Andrew. But yeah, Baker Mayfield's a fraud. I will keep saying that for as long as I live, because he'll just be a mediocre quarterback, and that's all he'll be for 15 years. He'll just be a mediocre quarterback that gets your team to the playoffs by a wild card because you're playing the Steelers and the Ravens for forever. So give me the Steelers to win. Baker Mayfield's a fraud, and go Steelers.
If the Browns score 35 and he throws for 3 touchdowns, will you accept that he's not fraud and tweet that?
No, he's still a fraud.
So Steelers are going to win and cover, Davis?
Yes.
Perfect. I do want to make a shout out here on our feed. Tavin says the U is back to the Just Brothers. All right, Jet.
Stop it.
We literally beat them in the
Don't even ban
literally
him.
beat them in the bowl game.
Cut him out of the feed.
Ban him from the feed.
Hey, is he still on? Because he could see this flag behind me.
Yeah, he's on.
Yeah, exactly.
He's on,
They took care of business.
Which never really happens.
Go ahead, Jet. Talk to us about
All
this
right.
game.
Well, what I saw in week 17 was a Browns team trying their hardest against a backup quarterback and barely winning. I'm going to take the Steelers, and I know they fuck around a bit, but I'm going to take them to cover.
Perfect. Andrew.
Yo, I've been riding with him, and I'm going to die with him. Give me Baker. Let's go Browns.
Oh, God.
Yeah, you are going to.
I mean,
you're looking for an 0-6 this week.
Yeah.
Let's go, baby.
That's a horrible.
Bingo, baby.
He's going contrarian across the board.
The only upset of the week. The only upset of the week is going to be Chicago. It's the only team you picked that's favored in this week.
Wait. I just want to say that Peyton Pritchard just won the game for the Celtics.
8 Mile.
So I want an apology to everybody who hates Peyton Pritchard.
I would also, if we go down this road.
I was just going to ask you, what's going on in that game?
The Celtics just blew a 10-point lead in like a minute.
Yeah, I saw that.
Peyton Pritchard got a tip in for the win.
In the interest of updates, your number 10 team in the East came back and beat the Jazz by 12.
Yep.
My Raptors are still in this game, only down by 4
shout out to
at
Peyton
halftime.
Pritchard.
Anyways, Will, who do you have in this game?
I honestly don't have a clue.
Thanks for your support, Will.
I'm just scared that this Cleveland offense, like, it could catch fire. Will it? I don't know. I'll take Pittsburgh, but I'm not betting on this game at all. Not to cover as well.
Neither is our parlay because we don't have one unanimous pick this week. Just so everybody knows, no guaranteed picks this week. Steve.
I just blanked out because of Peyton Pritchard. We're on Cleveland and Pittsburgh, right?
That is correct.
Yeah, Pittsburgh's winning. I'm not taking that spread, though.
Perfect. I am taking Pittsburgh to win and not cover in this game. They're going to take this game serious. Cleveland's playoff game was last week. They won it. Now in the second round, they'll lose. Chris, fantasy implications and to wrap up this segment.
Give me the Steelers.
He's Steelers straight up and for the win. Those are our picks of the week. You'll have this in a special episode coming out Saturday morning for the first game of the weekend. We will have 2 episodes releasing, probably going to be our Friday release, let's be honest. So you'll see our picks on our Friday release. You'll see our debate segment in a Monday morning release. 2 episodes of Into the Lab this week and coming at you, so you don't have to waste an hour and 45 minutes of your time listening to all this spiel from the debate segment. Ashley, talk to us who this segment was brought to us by.
And she's muted.
This segment.
First mute of the
there it
week.
is.
That's
There's a
one,
mute.
guys.
At least it
Under is
came
hidden
at the
today.
very end. This segment is brought to you by our Pick'em segment. Is brought to you by Taquito Express down in beautiful Brownsville, Texas, where you can get all you can eat tacos for only $7.99. Mention ITL for 10% off today.
That's fantastic. Taquito Express, I got to admit, one of the best friends of the show. They've been with us since the very beginning, and I cannot wait for our summer show down there, our week-long summer show. As we keep adding more and more talent, keep a lookout for some of the new additions to BCMG. They'll be with us down there. But let's do like we do best, people. Let's go ahead and do our sign-offs. Ash, I'm going to start with you, the voice of ITL. Talk to everybody where they could find you.
You can find me on Twitter at sweetpeach4_ for all the funny mom, wife, sports, crazy stuff all together in one. Thanks, guys, for having me again.
Absolutely, Ashley. Thank you very much. Steve.
You can find me at Rasner_Steven, and there will be another episode of Slightly Biased. 2021 has already given you 2 episodes of Slightly Biased.
Boy.
People.
Very exciting stuff, Steve. I do have some fun stuff coming out for ITL that we'll talk about later on this week. Sam, talk to the people about the source.
First of all, thank you guys for having me on. It's been a pleasure to meet all you guys. Great fellas, great conversation. You guys can find us at Source Podcast 11 on Twitter or on our website, www.sourcepodcast.com. And yeah, interact with us, talk with us about our motto, what picks you like, what picks you don't. And looking forward to interacting with you guys more.
Awesome to have you on, Sam. You got to come on more often. Just Luke.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Hearts on Hockey. Me and Paul are going to be dropping the newest Puckleheads podcast here probably within the next week. Hockey is back, baby.
Let's go.
Hockey's back. So definitely pumped about that. Thanks for having me, Ernest, and stay safe out there. Oh, and happy birthday, Job, if he's still here.
He's
here.
somewhere out there in the universe. Chris.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Asian Tatum. And just a friendly reminder that Peyton Pritchard is already more clutch and more of an alpha than Pascal Siakam. So everybody,
oh my God, shut the fuck up! Are you kidding me?
Shots fired!
I love it.
Hey,
Andrew's
last time Pascal Siakam hit a game winner, Andrew.
Oh, let's go back to 2019 with that ring that he's got on his finger, boy. Then we'll talk.
Let's not do that.
Dude, yeah, he could only spin. He could only spin to the right back.
Pivot.
I'm not gonna take this shit. We have a title.
Andrew, sign
Kawhi
off.
Leonard has that title.
I am upset right now. Way to sign me off on this bullshit. Anyways, you can find me on Facebook at the Boomtown Pod. We got a lot of big things coming. Looking forward to the new year, boys. We got Fight Island coming up in 2 weeks. We got 3 fight cards in 1 week. And shout out to the Pucklehead boys. I can't wait to join them to start our year-long conversation. Who's going to be the best team in the NHL? And it's the Vancouver Canucks. Let's go.
Way to throw that one in there, Jet.
Yeah, I am on Facebook and Twitter at Frostbite Pod. Harrison and I just wrapped up our first episode of 2021. Should be releasing next week, I believe. So looking forward to that. We touch on kind of predictions heading into the NHL season, and then a little bit of a look into the NFL playoffs. Also keep an eye out. I am working out some kinks, going to be starting up a YouTube page here pretty soon where I have a heavy focus on the NBA. So I'm really looking forward to that. And lastly, looking forward to joining the Puckleheads, of course. That's going to be a blast. So a lot of stuff coming and I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Will.
Yeah. You can follow me at Lathe on Tour. I've got a NBA team ranking coming out tomorrow on my YouTube channel, where I've given it massive about the Hawks being a really good team, and this week we've just lost to Charlotte, Cleveland, and New York in 1 week. So yeah, it's fun times to be a Hawks man.
You could be 1-5 right now.
Yeah, I'm loving the 4-4 life and probably finishing in the 9th seed and crying myself to sleep. But hey, go follow me on that. And again, Ernest, cheers for having me on.
Absolutely, brother. Davis.
Yeah, the Thunder have blown a double-digit lead yet again. I love how all my basketball teams are blowing double-digit leads in the second half.
What the Celtics
Don't you want them to lose?
So hey, so do I. So do I, Davis.
Yeah, be quiet, Paul. We don't talk about that. We'll get you at home. You haven't won at home in like 3 years, so
you ain't kidding about that.
And we haven't won here in 3 years, so it'll be fine. You can find me at ddog_1123 on Twitter, Instagram. On Saturday, check it out. We're combining College Football Break Room with NFL Break Room, bringing you one big show on Saturday before the NFL playoff game. So catch that, as we'll be wrapping up the title game that's maybe happening on Monday, along with the NFL games on Saturday. And just a shout out to Jets team for giving us a first rounder for your beloved Kelly Oubre. So,
also just quickly, Bradley Beal just went off for 60 points. You're welcome.
That's my boy.
And they still lost.
Oh, Peyton Pritchard's a Hall of Famer.
Oh, we're throwing all the hot takes in at the end.
Just Paul.
Logan Thomas, Hall of Famer.
Randy Moss.
You can find me on Twitter at Steel Curtain PH. Sam, thank you so much for coming out. Great time. You need to come back, bud.
Thank you.
Like your takes. But we got big news going over on BCMG. We just signed on another podcast. It's How You Met. We'll get more into that a little bit later this week. Launch them. It's a very fun show. Two great people. So we'll get that out there. But you can catch me, like Luke said, the Puckleheads this week. And me and Steve will be breaking down the Hall of Fame and giving you our Hall of Fame candidates on Slightly Biased this week. So just check it out.
I will do the final sign off. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Into the Lab. I know most of you do your downloads, listen to us when it comes to our pick'em. So thank you guys so much. Remember, 2 episodes this week. Our debate segment where we got heated and off track quite a bit will be released at the beginning of next week. And then our regular release will be our pick'em Friday morning. Don't forget to catch us on a brand new BCMG. So call your shot tomorrow night. We will be recording. You'll see that release Saturday morning where we pick the best bets of the weekend and go head to head on those. That's going to be a real fun one. And of course, some great new content coming in the year 2021 for BCMG. We're excited, guys. Thank you guys so much. Hope you guys have a great start to the new year and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy some football. Good night, everybody.